Just on that point around culturally, you got analytics, traditional analytics, BI, and so on, and advanced capabilities within that, and now you see these AI organizations or teams and their data scientists or AI engineers. And how do you see within your organizations those groups interoperating or working or coming within traditional BI and analytics? How's that working? How are you seeing that enabled in your organizations? Are you setting them separately, or are you setting them within your analytics organizations?
Well, within our organization, we've set them separately, and I don't think there is one model that's better than the other. It's a choice. But what is important is it's an and. You do BI and you do advanced analytics, right? And there's a place for both. And you want to build on top of these successes that you have in BI to start talking about, okay, this is what, looking at the data in a descriptive fashion, you can get these sorts of insights. But let me take it one step forward for you. Mm-hmm. And that's that partnership between the domain experts, the subject matter experts, and the data experts that is so critical for the success of AI, for the success of any analytics, and that for that matter. So while BI and analytics in Bayer, we have them separately, advanced analytics, they are all connected with the subject matter experts. That to me is the key part that we have to honor.
Okay. Yeah, maybe just to build a little bit on Naveen's point, one of the things we're seeing is, what we come from a consulting perspective, our clients are asking us to help with what they're calling data literacy, and having the producers, like Naveen's talking about, be able to interact and talk with the consumers of whether it's traditional BI or more advanced analytics, and then also have those consumers be able to ask the right questions. It's that partnership between the business and the data experts, and having a common language that is critical. And so, for example, typically we're seeing 3 pillars, right? And this isn't rocket science, but it's one that's critical, and that is governance around the analytics models, making sure you can trust what's coming out of the producers, talent management and acquisition. And, we kind of started the conversation here with how this group spent a lot of time talking about those exact challenges, making sure you're attracting the right talent and then growing them. Understand who's consuming and producing data in your organization, giving them the right level of training so that they do become data literate, and being very clear on job roles. And so again, it's a lot of blocking and tackling that may not be glamorous, but is foundational to making this work.
Well, that's a good point.
I couldn't agree. Sorry, I couldn't agree more with what they've explained here too. And there is a big push towards more advanced insights in the business world today. It's getting a lot of buzz around it, but as Tom mentioned, and Naveen and Andy, there's room for all 3. So the way I view the world and try to educate my business partners is that when it comes to analytics and data and really deploying them in a value added manner, is that we have to understand what has happened, retrospective insights, what is currently happening, near term, near real time insights, and what could happen. And that's what could happen is the advanced analytic piece. All 3 of those buckets of analytics working in concert is what brings the power and what brings the value to an organization. And it takes everything that what Andy was just describing, how Tom was describing, Naveen and others, to really bring that together. It's a component of the analytic capabilities.
Yep.
A 3-legged view and the data literacy around it. Sorry, Rick.
No, and I would say that we have to create space for both, or if not all 3. And with us, because of the geography, because it's a global company, and there's a localization aspect of the BI, getting close to the customer and the consumer and to the actual problem statement. I think it's critical, but I also see an advantage in having a regionalized or global data and analytics science team that can take that problem statement and actually take it to the next step. But we view the localization aspect on the BI side.
Okay, at the end, and a key point around it, making it localized at the core point in your markets you're dealing with. Chris read it out earlier when he said data is a strategic asset. How is the business and leadership in your organization seeing data as a strategic asset? How is the leadership in your organizations thinking about it, and what steps are they taking to make data a strategic asset?
Absolutely, yeah. So where I work at Evernorth is a combination of Cigna and Express Scripts, a health plan, and a PBM. In healthcare, the application of advanced analytics have been in place in many flavors for some time. The way that they're looking at the value is understanding and recognizing the vast amount of information we're able to store and access and make available to analytic teams like mine, and how that can actually improve health of patients. In healthcare in the past, many years in the past, when EMRs first emerged, it was a mechanism to more efficiently store patient data. Now what we're trying to do is activate that patient data to leverage it for future insights, but also sticking to the three buckets: what has happened with that patient, what is currently happening with that patient, and what could happen with that patient. And looking at it through the lens of predictability, affordability, and simplicity. So really leveraging the data assets we have and the analytics, the transformation of those assets to make healthcare as affordable as we possibly can, as simple. We all know that dealing with the healthcare industry, any one of us, is complex as a consumer, and improve their experience with their healthcare. Looking at it as a consumer service product. So all of those things drive towards healthier patients that don't have to pay as much out of pocket for their healthcare. So really, how they're looking at it as a new tool to help fix some of the most fundamental challenges that have faced the healthcare industry overall.
Yeah, I think you're going to hear in answers a lot around experience, right? As we look at the data assets that are being generated just by the behaviors of our customer base, right? So what we want to be the preferred grocer in the markets we serve. How do you do that? You do that by creating a unique, tailored experience for the customers of your store. And so we're using data and the behavioral data, the purchase behaviors, the digital interactions that we have with our customer base to provide tailored, personalized offers, assortment, make sure we have the proper or the right products available for them to purchase, opening up different channels. How do you want to shop with Schnucks in this case? But creating that preference is the result of creating unique experiences that are tailored to the individual, and the underlying ability to do that is created from the data assets and the analytics.
It's really fascinating to see both two different industries, retail and the healthcare sector, both, the customer or patient first view of that and interaction, or personalizing your services to that consumer or the patient, and then data being the agent to enabling that as you go forward, and hence being strategic to it. But in terms of, I heard a CDO recently say, executives or the CFO office should think about data as a balance sheet item. What's your views on that? Let's thinking as an asset as a balance sheet.
So yeah, I think more and more companies are doing that. Even I'll talk about our crop science division at Bayer. We have a platform model of business right now where we are providing farmers and participants in the broader farming ecosystem, right? So whether they are banks, whether they are downstream consumers, as the place to come together to share information, to share data, and share applications, all towards that intent of making that farming ecosystem a lot more efficient. And so in that case, you can imagine, right, that data does become a commodity that is being transacted and therefore becomes part of a value stream for us or for some other entity. So more and more instances of those are popping up. And I can talk about in the pharmaceuticals division also, where we're trying to think about that. It comes with its ups and downs. The ups, definitely, there is potential to tap into that market, but the pieces that still need to be figured out are things like how do you monetize that? How do you charge for a byte of data, right? How much is it worth? I don't know. No straightforward answer there. And also the biggest problem around making sure privacy and security of those data are not being compromised in any way, shape, or form, because we all know what happens when that occurs. So those are some problems that still need to be addressed, and of course not easy problems, but that again becomes part of the purview of the CDO, is to figure out how do you turn over those rocks.
But we're kind of so taking account privacy and compliance, but monetization is something which monetizing your data and treating it, something you're thinking about and starting on those journeys as I hear it and as you go forward. It's good to see that.